Hello and welcome everybody, my name is Savage and today we're going to be having a look at ETH against its USDT pair. Thank you for watching the video, and if you'd like to show your support, please smash that like button, hit that subscribe button if you haven't already, and feel free to comment with any feedback you may have down below. Okay, so let's jump into ETH now. So there's a few ways that we've been looking at this, and basically if I jump out here quickly onto the 4 hour, let's readjust this. This is looking for the potential that we could be seeing this breakout to the upside here. Obviously, the important lines of invalidation here are currently this 1218, this 1151, and finally this 1075. Breaking down below these levels would start to invalidate the subwave structure of this move and make us look at the potential that actually what we have here is a completed correction and we're starting to break down again. And then we would be looking to those lows that we've potentially talked about at 840-ish. That's sort of that zone. But we'll have more information on that once the waves start to develop. So if we jump back into the hourly here, there's a few ways that we can look at this. So we can look at this as an A, B, C into this point, and then basically we've had another A, B, C to the upside here, and what we would be looking at is a bigger A into this low, a B and a C that we were looking to track down into the support zone here between 1256 and 1234. We've not currently started a 5 hours. I would have expected this to be in a 5-wave move, but it can actually just be a WXY instead of an ABC. And what that would mean is instead of getting a 5-wave move to the downside here, what we'd be looking for is basically just a 3-wave move to the downside here. And then that could look to complete a bigger correction as a WXY rather than a ABC. So that would be that as a WXY. So it just means it's made up of 3 waves rather than, sorry, three wave moves rather than a 3-3-5 move. So with that being said, what we are looking at here is the potential that we could also still be within this X wave if that's the case. So basically this X wave could still be developing, and that could be potentially as a triangle. If we throw this move on here, or if we throw this line onto there, and basically we could be looking at this as a B, C, D, and then we're forming an E wave, though currently we would be looking to break that anyway. So we would be on, if this is the case, we'd be looking to break to the downside now, but because of the fact the stochastic on the 1 hour is so short, it is also possible that what we just have here is this is a ABC. We could not be finished with this move, and actually what we have is a smaller B wave in a smaller triangle in here, and we're going to look to be A and break to the upside. So it would be A, B, and a C wave to the upside here. So that's one thing I'm keeping an eye on. It is possible we could look to break to the downside there from this point, and then what we might be looking to do is retest this 50% or this current trend line we've got drawn on here. If I just have a look at the fib relationship here, if we go up to this high point, we can see that a 1-to-1 would take us down to this 50%. So should we start to break down from this area, that could be a potential target. Though this X wave, like I said, might not be completed, and rather what we'd be looking at is the potential that we have a move to the upside here. And what we would be looking at there is that what we could see is a potential move up here. And that would be in this sense as a B, and a C to the upside. So we could see this develop as an ABC to the upside, which would look to target out this 1289 area, though it is also possible we could move up slightly higher or even possibly set a double top at this 1296 range. If that were to play out, then we would obviously, it would adjust the 1-to-1 of this first ABC move, and we could look to potentially not drop as low as we had initially thought. And what we would be looking at there is if we go to this 1-to-1 here, even at this 1-to-1, it still brings us down into this zone of this of the 618. So yeah, that's possible. We could still have a little bit of a leg up here where we have this as a one as maybe a zigzag back to the upside, or this could be an A, a B, and we look to drop down in a C wave. So we'll have to see. If we fail to break back above this 1283, then I'll just be looking for a 5-wave move down here to complete. Could be a 3-wave move, but probably a 5-wave move. If we don't move up past this point, then we could be looking rather at hitting this 618 area. If we move up to this area of this 1289, or potentially even up higher towards this towards the top of this move, this would adjust our one-to-one and might make us look only to retest the trend line. So that's just something to bear in mind. We also need to so basically what this would be looking at is for the potential of having a bigger 5-wave move here. So we'd be looking at being within this wave 3 effectively. And what that would be basically saying is that this would be a 1, we'd come down for a wave 2, and then we'd be looking for progression to the upside in a 5-wave move. If we look at the fibs off of here, basically the ideal 3rd wave location would be probably, would be here at this 1380. That would be a impulsive trigger. And what that means is that that's just the general area that a wave 3 will travel if it's the one that has the extension within it. And basically from there, we would be looking for an additional move up. Oh, I've already got the box marked up here. So basically into this 1424 and 1403 area. That could be a typical wave 5 off of this low that we have based here. So if that's the case, we can see this would fall short of this impulsive trigger for this wave 3. It wouldn't invalidate it as such, but we would then need to be starting to see how this reacts from that point, because there wouldn't be much difference between this wave 1 and this wave 3, so it was probable that it's actually just a corrective structure and it's going to look to break down. However, should we move past this 1493 area, then we could be looking to these higher targets, potentially up to the 1684 to 1600 area, though we would need to make sure that we keep an eye on this 4th wave retracement and make sure it doesn't misbehave and catch us out, and actually it's just a corrective move that has completed with a bigger 5-wave move at the end of it. So those are the things we're looking for with regards to the bullish sentiment. So if I just quickly switch this over here, let's turn off that bullish breakout, and what actually let me remove this stuff so it doesn't cause us any issues. Let's get rid of that. There we go. Okay, so if we jump back into here, we have a look. So there was also the possibility that we could be having a triangle in this area, though like I said before in the previous video, I don't really like it because we'd have to rely on the fact that we have a expanding diagonal over here, and they're not very common, so I'm not I'm not hedging my bets on this one, because it is possible that this is actually just a WXY move, and then um, we could look for that upward progression we just talked about. Should we break this low, however, then we could start thinking about the possibility that actually what we could be having is a bigger triangular move within this, and what this would be is effectively this would be a wave A or a wave 1. We wouldn't know yet. We'd only know by confirmation of whether it moves down deep enough. But as at a 1-to-1 ratio, with this high point here, it would look to target out this 1206. Though, should we start to get some kind of more complex moves within this, and this D wave makes it and it becomes more complex, basically what we could be looking is to target lower down in these areas. We could be looking at there's no hard and fast rule with these, but sometimes they target out these 0.618 areas of the previous wave or the adjacent wave. Even then, it's not 100%. So it could look to target out this 1158 area if it becomes a D wave. And what we'd be looking for there is this is an A wave, this is B, and then we'd want to see 5-wave structure developing to the downside here. So invalidation of this currently as a potential triangle would come by crossing back above this 1309 area, and also dropping below this 1075 area would invalidate the potential of a bigger triangle here. We only get confirmation on this D wave, so we'll have to wait for it to play out, but until that happens or doesn't happen, basically it's just something we're tracking in the sideline. Okay, so there was one last thing I wanted to talk about, and basically that was where we were looking at this. So I'm still currently looking at this as a potential ending diagonal within this move, and what we'd be looking at here is basically that we're forming an A, a B, and what we would want is a C wave to the downside. So this A could be here actually, and what we have is this is a 1, 2, 3 triangle as a fourth, and then a fifth wave into this low. In which case we would be looking for basically this B wave completion to come in as they within a diagonal. It's normally a zigzag as a um, as a connector wave between these. So, but because this is a B wave between between the two 5 wave moves, it technically doesn't have to be. It can be whatever it wants to be within this. It can be more complex, and then we break down for this 5 wave. But the fourth wave, the second wave, and the third wave, and the fifth wave and the first wave, they have to be zigzags or a variant of it. So that is something we're being aware of, is that should we start to break down, we could be potentially looking to move down towards this 864 area at a 1-to-1 off of this basically off of this high point here, or we could look to fall short slightly and maybe retest the trend line here, which is slightly moved. Let me move it back up. So there we go. That would be a potential endpoint here. Potentially, well, it depends exactly how long this move takes, but it could look to target out between this 900 area and this 864 area. So we are just monitoring that. So should this move start to roll over and we take out these lows here, then it becomes more likely that we are potentially setting up for this bigger drop. And like I said, if we have a look here quickly, the 1 hour, the 4 hour are low on the stochastics. However, the 8 hour is right up there. The daily is also right up there, and the weekly is coming down. Well, it's actually just started to turn to the upside, but it still does have some room to the downside. So we just need to bear in mind that it doesn't necessarily mean that we have to correct that weekly to the upside before moving down. That can stay oversold for quite a period of time. One other thing that I wanted to just touch on, if we go onto the weekly view, actually let me just do this, and we jump onto this. So we just also need to bear in mind that we're coming up against this the bottoms of these last little support zone that we had here, and retesting it. So should we fail to close above this line here, 1276, this could be taken as quite a bearish thing, and it could look to continue the sell-off to the downside. And if that does happen, then like I said, we could be looking for a deeper move here, potentially to retest this low here, or maybe some of these other lows here at 997 and $1,000. Basically, I think this weekly close, should we fail to break back up above these, then we would need to be checking to see if we're going to get a retest on these lows here. And if we do start to sell off, we could potentially blow through these and fail to move away, and then basically just trigger some more sell-offs. So that's just something I'm keeping an eye on. Well, I hope everyone enjoyed this video, and if you haven't already, please hit that like button, subscribe if you haven't already, and this really helps us out. I hope everyone has a great day, and until we meet in the next video, keep safe out there, everybody.